The oldies, man, you just gotta love them. Okay, so, Jersey Boys. Jersey Boys is a musical biography based off of Frankie, Valli, and the Four Seasons, and is also based off the Broadway play, The Jersey Boys. And it's also directed by Clint Eastwood, and I'm like half and half with Clint Eastwood right now. He could either be a good director or a bad director. Good director because he directed such movies as Changeling and Gran Torino. Bad director because he did movies like J. Edgar and Hereafter. And for Jersey Boys, I feel as if his directing was cut right down the middle. And it wasn't just his directing, it was the story in the movie. Ultimately, it's about Frankie, Valli, and the Four Seasons and their rise to fame. But when you make a movie in which you see the time progression, just let us know what time period we're in, or at least the year. Yeah, they didn't show what year we were in, so I was a little bit lost in time. And at the beginning of the movie, you see one of the members of the original Four Seasons say, "You want to know the real story? Here's the real story." He's talking to you guys in the movie theater just like how I am talking to you guys, talking about the movie. But throughout the movie, you start to see every character doing that, in which they're talking to the screen to you, and then you're just like, well, what's the real story then? Because if every character just starts talking about their point of view of the story, then they have their point of view, and then I feel as if, well, I don't know what the real story of the Four Seasons is. Just stick to one character telling the story, one point of view, and then everything will run smoothly. And since it's a Broadway musical, you gotta have a good soundtrack in this movie. And I have to admit, the soundtrack in this movie was really good. I didn't realize how familiar I was with Frankie, Valli, and the Four Seasons music after I saw this movie. Once they started to do certain concerts and rehearsals in the movie, I was just like, I know this song, hey! And that's why I say you really can't go wrong with the oldies. And really, I caught myself tapping my foot and snapping my fingers. And here's a funny story. I was sitting next to an old couple in the movie theaters, and then they looked at me and they're just like, who is this guy? They looked at me and they're like, you like Frankie, Valli, and the Four Seasons? I was like, yeah, I really enjoy their music. And they're like, well, I guess this generation isn't all that dumb. They just insulted my generation. And I was enjoying the music and the movie with them, which was really awesome. Now the thing with translating a Broadway musical to the movie theaters, you have to be really careful with that. And all that comes down to finding the right actors for these roles. You notice that some of these actors are used to acting Broadway rather than a movie theater, because a lot of the times they're like yelling on like the top of their lungs basically. I was in a movie theater and I was having surround sound. I can hear their whispers, let alone their yelling. Because Broadway and cinema, they are totally different. Well, they're sort of the same, but not really. You get what I mean. So Jersey Boys had a little bit of a problem telling the story and letting us know what time period we were in. You can tell the actors are used to acting Broadway rather than cinema. And nothing major really happens in the movie. It was just about their lives. But hey, you really can't go wrong with the music, and the music in here is really good, and that brings it up a couple notches for me because I have a soft spot for music. A good soundtrack in a movie, I mean. So I'm gonna say Jersey Boys is okay, but you're probably gonna have to wait for the red box on this one. And it was cool to see older couples come into the movie because this was their generation. And I'm wondering, like 30 years down the line, they start to make musical biographies off of my generation. But only time will tell, but for the meantime, I have to get going. Oh, and I hope you guys enjoyed my new intro. Thanks for watching.